President, can you explain why so many of the public health experts on the coronavirus task force are contradicting you on things like why the virus is so widespread in this country, on the efficacy of hydroxychloroquine? Why are so many of these people on your task force contradicting you?
Well, I think we're doing a great job. I think we're doing great on vaccines. We're doing great on therapeutics. You'll be seeing that very soon. I think we're, when you look at a map, this is a map of the, I've sort of shown that around a little bit, but that's, the red is the area of most concern. It's a pretty recent map of the country, and there's a lot of people that, in a lot of areas that have gotten very, better very fast. Hydroxy has tremendous support, but politically it's toxic because I supported it. If I would have said, do not use hydroxychloroquine under any circumstances, they would have come out and they would have said it's a great thing. Many doctors have come out strongly in favor of it. They want it very badly. It's a great malaria drug. So for many years, let me finish my answer. So for many years, it's, I guess, 60 years, it's been a malaria drug, very successful, as you know. And it's been also a drug for lupus. And it caused no trouble, virtually nothing in terms of causing people to get sick or having problems with anything. You add the zinc and you add the zithromycin, the Z-Pak as they call it. And it's been very, I happen to take it myself. The threesome, I took it myself for a period of 2 weeks. I had no problem. I had no problem whatsoever. And importantly, I didn't test positive. That's very nice. Okay, I'm very happy about that, negative. And so that's the story. It's very highly thought of. Interestingly, a great doctor, from what I understand, a great doctor from Yale, feels very strongly about hydroxychloroquine. The Ford Clinic in Michigan came out with a very, very powerful paper saying it's very good. Many other in France, as you know, they came out with a very positive statement. Many individual doctors have come out with very positive statements. I will tell you that if I was surrounded by people, as I was at the time, the reason I took it, we had some people that were relatively near me that tested positive. And I took it for that reason, just because I've heard good things.
But Fauci says it doesn't work.
Well,
Your Wild says it doesn't work.
I don't agree with Fauci on everything. I don't agree with Fauci. Look, Fauci didn't want, and I like him, I get along with him actually great, but he didn't want to ban people from China from coming into the country, and I overrode him, and I did the right thing. He was saying face masks are no good a short while ago, so it doesn't mean he's a bad person, because he's not. He's a good person. I like him.
All right, I want to bring in our experts to talk about this, but just a quick fact check on what the president said about hydroxychloroquine, because he was not accurate at all there, touting a study that has been discredited, touting a doctor who has touted studies that were not randomized or controlled. So just do not take what he said as any sort of medical advice, because it goes very contrary to what experts overwhelmingly say. I want to bring in Jim Acosta, who is at the White House. And Jim, you were there at that event with the president.
I was, and we tried to ask him about why there are so many members of the coronavirus task force now who are contradicting him on almost a regular basis now when it comes to hydroxychloroquine or just the widespread nature of the coronavirus here in the U.S. Dr. Deborah Birx was on with Dana Bash yesterday on State of the Union talking about this, essentially saying that the reason why the virus is spreading so quickly around the country is because it is now seeped into both urban and rural areas, that essentially you can't escape it, and try to pin the president down on some of that. And as you saw, Brianna, he retreats to some of the same talking points. We should also note Admiral Brett Giroir, who is on the task force, was on one of the Sunday talk shows yesterday questioning the effectiveness of hydroxychloroquine, a drug that the president has touted time and again, and you just fact-checked him live on the air a few moments ago, how the president has been citing studies that have been discredited by very senior and respected members of the public health community. But, this, I think, all comes out of and stems from the president, for the first time, really taking aim at Dr. Deborah Birx, who up until just over the weekend had really been sort of a team player, not really questioning the president's statements publicly. That seemed to change over the weekend, and I think that question about why there are members of the task force contradicting him, it's not just Dr. Fauci anymore. You heard the president talking about Dr. Fauci. He tends to treat Dr. Fauci as a punching bag from time to time, but it's not just Dr. Fauci who is contradicting the president anymore. It's other members of this task force, and I think it shows, Brianna, that some of these members of this task force are thinking to themselves, you know, we can't just stand idly by and let the president put bad information out there to the American people. And I think that is why you're seeing some of these other members of the task force contradicting him.
And Dr. Otez, despite all of the president's top health advisors confirming that the drug hydroxychloroquine simply doesn't work and is dangerous to treat the virus, the president continues to promote the drug. His experts, his own coronavirus task force members say that it's simply not true, that there are serious dangers. I just checked, by the way, the July 1st Food and Drug Administration warning says, yes, the drug works for malaria, lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, but it doesn't work for coronavirus, and there are side effects, including, according to the FDA, serious heart rhythm problems and other safety issues, including blood and lymph systems disorders, kidney injuries, and liver problems and failure. Yet despite that, the president keeps touting it.
Yeah, we have massive evidence and multiple clinical trials, as Dr. Girard pointed out in your segment, that hydroxychloroquine not only does it not work, it's very toxic in those high doses, causing heart disease. We actually saw that back in May in studies coming out of Brazil. So that book is closed. And then you have to ask, why does the president keep on reverting back to the same old things, going back to these miracle cures, hydroxychloroquine, going back to saying it's all due to increased testing, the cases, minimizing, saying the virus is still harmless 99% of the time. So you've got this now really difficult situation where not only is the American public very worried about their health and about their families contracting COVID-19, they have the extra layer of worry that nobody has their back, that the White House doesn't understand the depth and breadth of this epidemic and so far has shown no signs that they're willing to take it on and fight it. And then you start to get this situation where you're affecting Homeland Security because people don't feel safe. And that's what I'm worried about in the coming weeks, that this is going to cause further destabilization. I've put out a plan that we can get our nation back onto containment mode by October 1. We've sent it to the White House. No real response or interaction. Others, Johns Hopkins has put out a plan. We've got to do this because we can't get to the situation where 300,000 Americans die by the end of this year, and that's our current trajectory.
Yeah, 1,000 Americans every single day are dying from this coronavirus, and it's an awful, awful situation. And the sad thing is, no end in sight, at least until there's a therapeutic, at least, and a vaccine, and that could be quite a while. Dr. Otez, thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks so much, Wolf.